Technology. I am recording this for those that can't make it. I'm hoping some more people will join. We never really know who's going to turn up, but we'll have fun. So, good afternoon, ninjas. Let me share my screen. If I can remember how to do it, that would be good. Okay, so hopefully that's popped up and I'm a little less large on your screen now. So, good afternoon. Thank you. This is number 13 in the Change Ninja Forum. So this is a perfect opportunity to celebrate because it's the end of the series, but we will be starting again with some new forums in July. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're not going to do that round of introductions. We will chat as we go and get to know each other. So welcome. Some new faces here too. So and some returning. If you don't know about me, which most of you will do by now, especially if you've been before, same thing. So 2 great books, I think, on the Change Ninja Handbook, Change Ninja Returns. They're gamified adventure stories. You get to make lots of decisions, learn lots of things. You go very story based, and they're all based on real things that have happened to me. So I know the things work. I've got some news which I'll share with you during the session. There is the 4-day Ninja Challenge course that goes with that. Craig's sort of been on some of that. You were on the earlier version of that. It's now much more improved. So if you thought that one was good, Craig, this one's even better. But that runs on a regular basis, so do get in touch if you're interested in a bit more training or just want to have a chat. I always start my session with hopes and fears because you've come along with a hope, and hopefully you've not come along with huge fears, but you might have some fears. So I would like to know from you what your greatest hopes for today are, and anything you don't want me to do, anything you're worried about, any fears that you have. So just when you're ready, if you can shout them out or pop them in the chat box, I would just make a quick note. If you just shout them out, it's quicker if you're not shy, but not everybody can. So practical tips, brilliant.
Yeah, just learning some new techniques, as always, from you, Tammy.
New tools, superb. Engage others, brilliant. Thank you. Any fears? I'm fearless today. It's number 13. I'm not superstitious.
No.
I'm going to put no fears. Let's just have some fun. Oh, you were born on the 13th. Excellent, Laura. So 13th is a good day for you too. So hopes and fears. We've got no fears to get rid of. If we did, I would get rid of them so that we're not thinking about them and we can put them to bed. Our hopes then, we want some new tools, practical tips, and learn how to engage better with other. That's fine, Laura. I still don't know how to use it and I've been on here for months. But we always muddle through. Technology is not my strong point. So hopefully, is that all right as an agenda for everybody? Good afternoon, Catherine. Welcome. We are just starting with the agenda for today, where we're going to do some practical tips, learn some new tools, and how to engage others. Does that work for you, everybody? Excellent. I do this every time if you've been to a session, but there are some newbies. Hopes and fears is a really good way to start a session and engage people. We're here to talk about improvement and celebration. If you use this at the start of your meeting, people will start to share what they're worried about, and you can remove the worries, and that means that they can engage in the session. And then the hopes inform the agenda, your agenda, not mine. We're all aligned on it. We all agree it. We're much more likely to engage in it and get the things done that we need to do. So it's a really good tool to use at the start of any meeting, whether it's a team meeting, whether it's your board meeting, whether it's a one-to-one with your boss. Have a go at doing it. It really, really does work. So celebration and improvement. I did my regular poll, and we're getting quite good responses now. 27 is quite high for a LinkedIn poll for me. But do you take time to pause and celebrate? And quite a lot of people said yes, they do. What about you guys? Is this something you do regularly? Thumbs up, maybe sometimes. What's the, yep.
Probably not as often as I should.
Not as often as you should. So I think when we remember to do it, we do it. We don't necessarily do it. We're sometimes caught in the just moving on to celebrate, moving on, we've finished something and the next project's already lined up. So even if you do it, and big congratulations if you are doing this already, it can be easy to forget. And it can be easy to just start the next thing without celebrating the thing we've just finished. So some tools for making sure we do remember and we build it in as practice. So even if you're doing it, making a continuous improvement habit is a really good habit. You can always do better. I always do a review of my sessions because they can always be a bit better. They might not be, but I try and learn from them and make them a little bit better each time. I still keep forgetting to plug my dongle in before a session to make sure it doesn't run out. That is a failure of mine, but I will learn. So using hopes and fears can be a really good way. Lisa, good afternoon. Good to see you. Using hopes and fear can be a really good way to start this improvement because people will start to share their worries and fears. And that's part of the celebration and improvement piece. Because if people know that we can all come together and get rid of the things we're worried about, it will start to shift the mental mode. And if we then know that the meeting's going to be about our hopes, and we're going to contribute to the agenda, it can shift that mental positive towards things. And then when you've set your agenda and then at the end we check in, which I will do, have we achieved our hopes? Did none of the fears come true? Then we can celebrate that because we're all like Team Ninja. So that can build in a really good way of just making sure we're getting rid of the fears. We're all aligned on what we're here to do. We're going to do what we need to do, and we're going to check at the end of the session, meeting, whatever it is, that we've done what we're going to do. So it's a big sort of high five to everybody. It's a team effort. So again, the more you do that kind of thing, get that into your practice as an improvement thing, the better, because people will expect it and you will get that celebration. And when you get celebration, when you do your big high fives to yourself or to each other, it gives you that really nice feeling. You get a little bit of dopamine, you get a little bit of the endorphins, and it tells your brain that this is a really good thing to do, which helps you to remember it the next time. So forming new habits is hard, but the more you celebrate, the more your brain recognizes that what you've done was a good thing and it wants to make you do it even more in the future. So it starts to build the neural connections that you need. So the more you celebrate, the more you get the neural build in your brain, the more it will become habit forming, which is really, really good for your brain and for getting stuff done. So hopes and fears. Tool number 2. If you have a team that you regularly meet with, do you guys do stand-ups? Do you do weekly, every day? What kind of meetings do you have with your team? Monthly?
Normally got a start of the week, which is an hour, and then a weekly just with the smaller team for task lists and stuff.
Yeah, so weekly meetings, fortnightly, directly with team, weekly, and they take up time and they're useful. I have a daily catch up with the team that I work with, which sounds like a lot, but this is the reason why. And I use hopes and fears catch up rather than regular hopes and fears. So every morning I meet with Eddie and the rest of the team, and we capture, and we normally capture this before we actually get together on sticky notes. What have we done since yesterday that we want to share and celebrate? And what are we doing today? So it takes 10 minutes. If everybody's writing on sticky notes what they've done and what they're planning to do, it saves time rather than going around the room and getting everyone to share for 10 minutes. And it's really focused. You can write quicker. So 10 people writing at once, even if you don't, so 10 people writing what they've done is quicker than 10 people saying what they've done. And we can read quicker than we can listen and speak. So I can scan those 10 people's celebrations much more quickly than listening to them say what they're saying. And it's much more focused. And then what we're doing next. So first we celebrate. So what have I got to celebrate since I saw you yesterday? What am I doing today? And when you do the planning what's next, it stops you worrying about the big things in the future, because that can drain the meeting as well. If someone's got something that they just keep talking about that's not happening for 2 months. What am I doing today or tomorrow? You might do it twice a week. So what am I doing for the next couple of days? What do I need help with? I'm doing this. What does anybody else need my help in anything? Or seeing what people are doing, I could help you with that. I've already got a template for that. I could show you that. So it becomes much more focused on activities and tasks. And it's fast. 10 minutes is genuinely all you need. And again, you get into the habit, but because you're celebrating, we're not moving on to the next thing. We're not waiting until we've done a big piece of work to celebrate. We're celebrating every day with achievements, and it motivates you. That little celebration, you get your dopamine, your endorphin. It tells your brain this is a good thing, and that energizes you and motivates you. So it's doing much more than just the team update. You're getting that general motivation, productivity thing going without trying. Because everyone feels good. Look at all the stuff we've done since yesterday. Look at all the stuff we're going to do till tomorrow. So I would really recommend it. I've got a little example in it. My catch up for today. This is my big news. I got the book contract signed off for book number 3. I'm kind of excited. It's got zombies in it. If we all like zombies, ninjas versus zombies, what's not to love? So the book is deep in, it's about half drafted, but there's a lot of work to go. It won't be out till next year. I'm running Forum 13, so I've done 13 events, and we've had people turn up and new people, and it's great because we get really good feedback for you. And I've been for my first run today after a foot operation I had in January, so I'm looking running gear, but I'm feeling quite good about that because I managed to go and there was no pain. So I've got quite a lot to celebrate, and that motivates me to do all the other stuff. It gives me that internal energy to do lots of other things. What am I doing before tomorrow? Well, I need to do a design spec because we've got some deadlines on the book. I need to book travel for an event I'm doing next month, and I need to move some of my stuff over to Substack. So they're the to-do tasks that are for me and my team for the next day or two. And then we'll do the same again. With this, I might work with a different team, and we might do this two or three times a week instead of every day. But doing that every day, it keeps you on it keeps you task focused. It keeps you from going off and doing the wrong things because you're checking in with each other. But more importantly, it gives you the celebration. And there'll be things you do in your team if you meet once a fortnight that someone goes off to do something and it might be the wrong thing or the wrong person or the wrong order. It happens. We're human. We don't always, we're not always as aligned as we should be. Doing this every day, you're going to nip those things in the bud. So you're going to stop mistakes happening more, and you're going to make sure you're not wasting time and you are more focused. And I don't mean that in terms of that everyone needs to be much more slicker and productive and all of that, just in terms of how you all feel about the project and working together and getting on with stuff. So it really helps with the brain stuff and feeling good about things and motivation. So I would absolutely recommend you do this in your team meeting. I would recommend you do it at least once a week, maybe build up to twice a week. It's a really good start to have. We do it, we call it coffee with Eddie and the team. So we have coffee at 10 every day. We bring a cup of coffee. It is coffee time. We've captured out 2 minutes to capture the things, and then you just highlight the things that you really want to highlight because everyone's read it. So it's not a case of reading through all of everybody's post-its out loud. It's just raising things that you want to raise. I'm going to see if anyone's got any questions or thoughts on that before I do the next one.
Without going off on a tangent, what's Substack? Is that a social media platform?
Oh, Substack it's kind of used a lot by journalists and authors, and it's a bit Twitter, where you can post long articles or you can post short things like Twitter, but it's a nice space. It's not it's not a Twitter space. So you follow people you're interested in and read stuff, and there's paywalls so authors and journalists will have paywalls for some of their articles, so you can become subscribers. But I've got like 40 articles, and I don't know if you're following my newsletter on LinkedIn, but I post on LinkedIn every Sunday. There's a newsletter, so I can just lift all of that and drop it in. And it might just open up Change Ninja Writing into a slightly different audience that isn't normally on LinkedIn. It might be an absolute waste of time, but it's cutting and pasting. But yeah, it's a nice, if you like reading things, interesting things, following certain, there's a lot of journalists don't get paid anymore for who buys newspapers anymore. So there's some really good stuff on there in terms of news articles and things like that. So, but you can pick and choose your journalists rather than buying a paper. So yeah, it's quite a nice platform, and people tend to be nice on there.
Good.
So that's I would really recommend giving this a go. It saves time, it's much more fun, it's again the celebratory stuff, and it keeps you on track. Okay, thank you, Catherine, hope to see you again soon. So number 3, this is the bee's knees tool for celebration and learning. We all do lessons learned. Some of you all learn as you go. This is the best way to learn as you go and celebrate. I would do this once a fortnight as a minimum on a project, probably once a week. I do this after every event I run. Everything I do, I pretty much run an action replay after it. What did I plan to do with the forums that worked well? What did I plan to do that's gone less well? Did anything go wrong that I hadn't even planned to do? And did anything work well that wasn't in the plan, just the serendipity stuff? Capture this as you go on your projects. Get everybody to fill it in. And then say, okay, how do we make sure we do more of the things that worked well, particularly the things we hadn't planned? Let's do more of that good stuff because we didn't think about it and it's worked quite well. So let's build it into our plans moving forward. And how do we avoid the things that went wrong? And particularly the things that we hadn't planned, the left field things, how do we make sure we're much more alert to those things? Create a list of actions and pop them into your action plan. So it's not waiting to the end of the project. It's not waiting for your gateway review. This is an every week thing. It might be that you do your catch up every day for 10 minutes, and on a Friday, you do an action replay. And when we go through it, get everyone to fill it in, work your way around from the planned and worked well. So you finish on the not planned and worked well, because they're the real high fivers to each other. We got some great feedback from a customer. We should make sure we capture more feedback. What do we do with it? So you finish on the really, really nice things. And again, the more frequently you do this, the more likely you are to get the motivation, the celebration, and avoid doing things that are going to fail in the future, keeping you well on track. So as any good ninja, I do this myself. So I'm going to ask you, some of you are new here, so this might be quite challenging. Nick, you've been before. Lisa, you know my stuff. From these forums and Change Ninja events, is there anything you can share with me that's planned and worked well, planned and failed, just didn't go well at all, and I don't think you planned it, or things that you don't think I planned to do that have worked well? Because the best way to learn is to get your feedback. And I appreciate this is kind of a bit sort of made up, but it'd be really good to hear your thoughts on the Change Ninja forums, because we're going to start again in July, and it'd be really, really good to make them even better. And perhaps you can, wider than the forums, if you engage with the newsletter or if you come to other events, anything you can share around planned and worked well, anything that's not gone so well, any serendipitous stuff. Has anybody got anything they can share? And I've got really thick skin, so you know, the more you critique it, the better it'll get. Nick, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was trying to find the electronic hand, but I wasn't successful in doing that. Right, yeah, from my side, what I liked was one of the sessions I attended was about change, and then not every kind of change project is exactly the same. So you need to understand, I like the fact that you use the same kind of 4 quadrants, and you were grouping the level of change. So for example, if you know where you're going, and this is kind of, you just use an existing recipe and you just apply it from project to project, or if you don't know where you're going and you're just discovering with a team, you need to take a different approach. So if you kind of compartmentalize that and you identify the level of change that you're going to work with, and automatically by putting it in the right box, you have a kind of approach you need to take, and you understand better the risks involved with the level of change you're going to make. So I like that because it was the very first time I've seen it.
Excellent. So new materials. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing, Nick. Anybody else got anything to share, or anything that didn't go so well, Nick, from the sessions you've been to that would improve it?
I wouldn't think so. I enjoyed every session, and people might think that by repeating the first slide, which is always the fears and the hopes, at the end of the day, I think actually this is a very good icebreaker. And sometimes for us busy people, repetition is a good thing. So I think actually is an advantage.
Thank you very much. Craig, Lisa, you've been to other things. Anything that would have improved your experience of Change Ninja? Laura, you're brand new. You can share things on joining up to Google because you've not used it before. If you've got anything, and Nicola, I can't remember if you've been or not, which is awful of me. But any experiences of Change Ninja that you think could be better, or things that you've really liked? And if you wanted to type it in, if you can't switch your camera on, that would be great. So you're brand new, Nicola. Does anyone read the newsletters? Lisa?
Yeah, I do read the newsletters, and I did the Change Ninja course, right? The Becoming a Change Ninja, and I really enjoyed it. Really got a lot out of it. But I'm a little old school. I tend to write like handwritten notes, and then I find that sometimes I'm trying to recall something that I learned, and I'm struggling to like remember where did I write that down, or kind of how to keep that organized. So maybe some suggestion, or like even material that you include to help facilitate note taking would be good for someone like me, because uh I like writing it, but I want some way to keep it kind of corralled together so I can like a reference, so that I can pull it together. I find myself looking back through your emails, looking for like, oh, she said this thing about this, and where is it? I can't find it, kind of type thing.
Yep. Brilliant. Thank you. Anything from anyone else? Thank you, Laura. The ice cream story. Everyone remembers the ice cream story. I don't know if you've seen the ice cream story, Nick. I'm not sure if I've done it at these forums. You need to come on the course.
Nothing extra for me. I mean, it's always been really good to get some new bits and pieces from these sessions, and yeah, it's always really well planned and delivered. So thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. So we've got some learning points. So we've liked the types of change, the new materials. I've really enjoyed these sessions because I don't need to be, well, you can see I don't need to be super smart, but it's just quite nice having a sort of quite informal, chatty type session. So I really enjoy them, which was what I planned. So that has worked well. I'll keep bringing in new materials and the types of change. I think that's been quite new for a lot of people. So I'll make sure I definitely do that one again. Action points on failing to organize. I need to do better, perhaps, particularly with the course, on sharing notepads for people taking notes. I very rarely do product recommendations, but I have something called the Remarkable, Lisa. I don't know if anyone's come across it. It's a virtual, I'll just, oh, you can't see because I've got that thing. It's a virtual notepad, but an electronic notepad. It's not connected to the internet. You can connect it up to download and save things, but it's not an internet, so it doesn't disrupt you. It feels like a writing pad. I've actually bought two in case they go out of business. It's that good because I'm terrible at admin. So you're writing on it, does feel like writing, but you can tag things and order things in folders. So you can just put a tag on. When I meet new people, I just put their name and then I move them into people folder, I move them into work in progress folder, I move them into sales folder. So it's really easy. It's like having a giant notepad with lots of, rather than going from start to end. it's all in different places, and so you can organize things in lots of different ways. It's the best thing I've ever bought because I'm really, really bad at admin, and it's the only thing that keeps me on top of it. So I'd have a look at that if you want something like that. But it is writing with a pen, and it feels like it's writing with a proper pen on proper paper.
Okay, thank you.
So and you can draw and things. It's black and white as well, so there's nothing fancy about it. It's really simple, but it's really effective for keeping things, filing things in that way. And you can also load in images. So the pets, like the action replay tool, you can load that in and then scribble on top of it. So you can,
Perfect.
like a template backdrop. So yes, I love it. Absolutely love it. I should be on commission with Remarkable for things like that. We haven't got things that failed and not planned, me forgetting to charge my dongle, but that's for me to learn about and try and remember. And then worked well and not planned. We've just enjoyed them all. I've loved them. Laura's here and she's been to an APM session and remembers the ice cream story. My intent is to share the stories that you'll remember. You won't remember IDQB unless you go, hang on, the ice cream story, this is how it works, and then you apply it. It makes the learning stick, because all you need to do is remember the ice cream story. I'm not going to put you on the spot, Lisa, and ask you to tell me about it and what tool it was. And the repetitiveness. Again, repeat, repeat, repeat. The more you do it, the more it will sink in and you'll remember it, particularly if it's got an example point. So one of the things I always try and do is share an example, like my run-in and the book thing, and then tell you how I've done it, because you're much more likely to remember and make sense of the tool if you've got a story that associates with it. So do the story, then the learning. So if you're ever teaching other people, example and then point, not point, example. We all remember those teachers that were terrible and droned on and on and on. And at the end, they would say, it's just like, and you have no idea what they're talking about. And then there's those really good teachers that teach you about fractions by buying a pizza and getting you to share it out. You remember it because it's got the thing that means something.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my recommendation for increasing the celebration. Hopes and fears, if it's a new team or a particular thing. If it's your regular team, catch up every day if you can, but start off twice a week. What have we done since we last met? Let's celebrate. Hands, high fives. Get those neurons firing, and then what we're going to do next. It will keep you on track, and it will give you the neuroscience stuff that you need to motivate you. And then for your project work, or even with your team, let's do an action replay at least once a week. Learn as you go, and you'll just build in all of the good stuff and maximize on it and do more and more of the good stuff, and you'll recognize the bad stuff, get rid of it, and you'll get rid of it really quickly. Don't just type up the notes, actually go and do them. Make sure you capture some actions, as I've done myself mentally off the back of that action replay. So thank you for helping me fill that in. You'll probably remember it more because you filled it in as we went, even though it was my action replay. But that's all I'm going to do around reward and celebration. I think this entire forum, it was a bit of an experiment. There's 13 sessions in it. We're going to run it again from June with there'll be some updates and some new materials. Some of them I'll repeat again. But for me, in terms of having this session and finding out about more ninjas and all of that, has been a huge celebration to me. I really, really do enjoy them. So I'm going to, let me do the slides proper again. There we go. So they look, it's not coming up. I need to learn this, learn how this technology works. It is a bit finicky sometimes. So there we go. 3 tools. If you want any of these tools and you can't find them, just give me a shout. You can find me on LinkedIn, or you've got my email. I can send you them over. If you haven't signed up to the newsletter and you need the link, do let me know. I do write every Sunday, so there's always something new coming out of that. Do your catch up. Seriously, do your catch up. So I would like to know what you've learned today. It's been a very fast and furious session. What's your biggest surprise? What have you learned? How might you use this in the future? I'm going to just ask you to share one point if you've got one. I'm going to go around the room and see if we can get a spin. There's not too many people. So what would you like to share about today's session that you'll take away and do something with? And I'm going to start with you, Nick. If you
Yeah, for sure. I like the again the quadrant or the 4 different squares of what worked well and what failed. But obviously, what was the eye opener was normally in projects what we do is we do lessons learned at the end of the project. Very occasionally or very rarely, depending on the contract, we might do something as we exit the phase, and I think obviously that's a very good approach. But the daily lessons learned and celebration of the things you have accomplished the previous day is something that I haven't thought before. So that was an eye-opener. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. So I didn't do the car thing because I think I'd done it a previous session, but most of us will drive, or we've all been in a car. And if you drive down the road looking in the rear view mirror all of the time, you're going to crash. So doing a lessons learned at the end of a project is like driving and looking in the rear view mirror. You're going to crash because you're not learning if you've already done it. So and mostly the team move on. And Nick, do you ever look at a lessons learned report before you start your next project? Be honest.
I would say no. I would say no. I would say no.
Yeah, we're a project team. We deliver. We go, oh, all those things. We're not going to do those again. We all go on to different projects. Leave it somewhere in a folder that nobody ever looks at, but it's gathering up electronic dust. And it's too late. It's too late. So, and you may have made some big blunders in that project. You might get some personal learning out of it, and you might learn yourself. But it's much better to learn as you go. You're much more likely to stay on track. Make small mistakes and learn from them, which is really good brain stuff because that's how we learn, but not actually, have any really big clangers. So remember the car driving and looking forwards. And this is like looking forwards and checking your mirror every week just to check there's nothing behind you. It's a bit like highlight reports as well. We quite often have big highlight reports at the end of a month. It's the past, it's gone. It's much better to focus on the future and where we're going on a project. So thanks for sharing, Nick. Lisa, anything you'd like to share?
Well, obviously, the idea, right, that I was courageous enough to bring up something that maybe didn't work that well for me in your class, and then it turned into something that I can use in everyday life and at work and home, and like I'm super excited about this now. And it made me think about, I believe my kids already are aware of this type of technology, even through an iPad or something, and so I might need to have a class with them.
Yeah, excellent. I would say if a lot of the stuff doesn't feel like writing, it still feels electronic, but because I've tried them, but this, it's like a normal pen, and you can do it as a fountain pen, and it doesn't interrupt you with the internet stuff. So but yeah, go over play. Great, you can get a new toy for the weekend. Craig,
just a reminder that you read quicker than you talk and listen. And so often my weekly catch-ups are frustrating because you're listening to people droning on about stuff that maybe the wider team isn't essential to your daily life. So yeah, maybe try and encourage people just to write it down, get it on notepads and get it shared quickly, and we can do it in half an hour instead of an hour.
Yeah, excellent. Now, when you said listening to people droning on, you're not actually listening to them, are you?
No.
So that's the thing, and everybody gets their 10 minutes and they use it. Nobody finishes soon because we want to make it sound like we're really busy and important. That's a human thing. So everyone's going to fill it with stuff just to make it sound busy, and no one's listening. So you've just got everybody not listening to each other. They're not listening to you either, Craig. But if you capture it on notes and then you pull out the key points, and if you do what I'm doing now, I'm doing a spin cast through everybody. So everybody, Craig, what do you want to share from your catch up? Nick, what do you want to share? And just have it to a minute each. Then it just speeds things up and it gets you real focus. So thank you. Nicola, anything you would like to share? You're brand new.
No, just I'm going to go try and find the template. As you say, as I think Nick said quite often, just leaving reflection for the end and needing to bring it in more regularly.
Yeah.
Teams.
Yeah. And again, it's a celebration thing, because you're not just doing the what went wrong, you're doing the what went right. And lessons learned quite often just focus on the what went wrong. So finish on the what went right, and you'll all feel good at the end of it. Thank you. Laura, I don't know if you've got anything to add. I don't think you can get your mic on, but you've popped a couple of things in around the tool. So when a culture isn't open to reflecting on what didn't go well, I would recommend, because not everybody likes that and they don't like the word failure, so we need to shift that mindset a little bit. Hopes and fears is a really good way into that. So if you do it with your team, they're going to think you're a bit mad, perhaps, and they're perhaps not going to share their fears. But if you have a fear that everyone's going to think you're a bit mad and they won't feel comfortable sharing the fears as a fear, it will lighten the atmosphere. And then do the thing that I did, going, this is not my agenda, it's your agenda. So if it's a rubbish session, it's not my fault, it's your fault. That can lighten that as well. And you do it 2 or 3 times and people start to get used to it. And once they get used to that, it's much easier to introduce things like action replay. Let's do a review, but always finish on the what wasn't planned that went well, because you'll finish on it's like having the ice cream. You'll finish on the cake, the ice cream, the thing that makes us feel good. So we've done the hard work in the middle and we finish on the really good stuff. So sometimes it's just trying it out. And if you've done the hopes and fears, I've got a hope that I want to do this review thing, and you might not like it and we might feel uncomfortable. My fear is you also think you're uncomfortable doing the hopes and fears. It starts to shift it. I've just been writing around, we talk about culture change and needing to change the culture. And my statement to people who say that is, you are the culture. So you need to start changing the culture that you want it to be. And doing it tiny steps, like introducing hopes and fears and action replay is a start of that. If it's going to get you into the right culture that you need it to be, you need to kind of be a bit brave sometimes and just take that risk. I'm not asking you to do it for your exec board and your senior leadership team, but just do it with a few people or a little team. Because once you do that and they get it, they'll start to do it. So you start to shift it from within. So don't wait for somebody else to change the culture for you. Have a go at doing it yourself. So Laura, I want to know how you get on, because you have accepted that challenge. Thank you. So thank you again. We had no fears. Have we got some practical tips, new tools, and how to engage others in celebration and improvement? Excellent. And back again on the 9th of July. If you are interested in any of the other stuff, please just drop me a note and we can have a little chat. I've just opened the September dates for the next cohort. There might be one over the summer, but it's harder over the summer because everyone's on holiday. But September dates are now open if anyone is interested in the training. And if you say, I've been to the forum, well, I'll remember you because you've been. But remind me you've been to the forum and I'll give you a discount if you're interested. So have a wonderful afternoon. Go forth and action replay and catch ups with your teams, and hopefully see you again when we start again in July. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy.